Great.
Yeah, so thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Today, we are joined by the amazing Sarah Lyons, who is a soul alchemist, Reiki master, quantum leader, spiritual mentor, and today she is going to be chatting to us about becoming an abundance warrior. But before we sort of get into that, I really would like to say hello for starters.
Hi.
Hi. And I wanted to just ask you how what your journey is sort of leading up to now to becoming this amazing person and doing the amazing things that you do.
Yeah, so it actually all started um, pretty chaotically. I was using drugs years ago. I was a chronic addict, alcoholic, and was really using all of these behaviors to try and fill this emptiness inside me that was just unfillable for so many years. And it wasn't until I had my final rock bottom after many in 2014 that I sought help. And it was like a flip just got switched in my life. I went from 30 years of feeling depressed and sad and just lost, completely lost, to feeling really supported by the universe once I'd made this decision to completely change my life. And it's just been a journey ever since with my spiritual awakening. And then I started off um, trying to teach about the chakras and doing programs around that. And then my calling has just gotten deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's evolved into what it is today, which is my mission is to really help as many women as I can to embody their own goddess self, because every woman is a goddess. And I would really love to see as many women as possible to unleash her.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that. I'm very much at that stage myself, actually, trying to unleash
Beautiful.
that person in myself.
Amazing.
Um, so that is amazing. I love that journey, and I love that you've shared that with us. Because what I'm finding, I think, the most in this beautiful space that we have is that we all have a story,
Yeah,
and the beauty and the power is in being able to share that and showing that we've all had the struggles in life, and
yeah,
we've all been able to we can use that to empower us to get to the next level of our life. So,
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. I
awesome.
love seeing women be able to turn their story around and use it for growth. It's
Yeah,
gorgeous. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So, as with the title of the chat today, it's becoming an abundance warrior. So, can you tell us a little bit more about that work that you do?
Mm. Yeah, so this was something that came to me. It was a bit of a calling for a while, and then almost overnight, I created this program because Spirit was guiding me. This is sort of what you have to do. You know, women, we really repress ourselves, and through fear, we keep ourselves hidden. And that's where the warrior part is. It's being able to step through that fear and know that it's safe to stand up, to step out, to shine. And yeah, it's really beautiful. There's so many parts to this, and I was thinking, how can I sort of nut it down just for this session? But the abundance part is because, I mean, we all love the word abundance, but we all want to be abundant, and we're all born abundant, but it's through these childhood conditionings, comparing ourselves to others. I should have this, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. So it's really about embodying the now, accepting the now, and loving what we have in this moment, which therefore creates more abundance anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
very
And
beautiful
so,
process.
when we look at it, sort of in relation to, because I know personal and business stuff is very much the same. But when
Yeah.
we're looking at, well, firstly, I know we were saying about the word abundance. What does abundance mean to you? Because I know it is such a word, and
It
everyone
is a
feels
very
different.
broad word, yes.
Yes.
And to put it into words, it's more, for me, it's a feeling. Now, I know if you look it up in the dictionary, it's going to have, I don't know what it's going to have, to be honest, but to me, it's a feeling of, and this is just for me personally, but it's like gratitude for everything that we have, And when I think of abundance, I think of the abundance of the beautiful Mother Nature that surrounds me. And I know a lot of us will probably think, financially abundance. And yes, people want financial abundance, and that's great too. But when we can feel abundant in our lives with what we do have, we're going to create more of that
Yeah.
anyway. So, yeah, it's hard to put into a few words.
Yeah. It's kind of like an emotional abundance in a sense,
Yeah,
isn't it?
absolutely.
Yeah. And I have noticed as well, once once you do have that feeling, things in life do seem to start. So the kookaburras are going off. It's just
Beautiful.
beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, once you start having those things and that feeling in your life, things do start sort of piecing together.
They do, and it's universal law, and that's why I also incorporate universal law into my work, because they're also interconnected. And anyone that wants more abundance in their lives, if you take a look at the universal laws, you will see how this works, how we can get our thoughts on board, and through accepting what we have and feeling abundant with what we have, we're going to just therefore create more anyway. It's just how it goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And do you do a lot of work? So I know that when I was reading your a business page and stuff, you're talking about sort of blocks, and I know that for me that's one of the biggest things that has been stopping my abundance. Before, I have all
Yes.
these amazing things I want to achieve, and it's
Yeah.
more that my own BS stories and blocks and things are getting in my way. And so,
Mm,
and I know that's probably a lot the same for some of our listeners. So,
yeah.
what sort of steps would you recommend to kind of take to start clearing some of that?
Yeah, there's a few things, because these blocks can either be created in this life or a past life. So, and it depends on what the block is for women. And fear of rising and shining, a lot of that is past life stuff.
Yeah,
So I would really highly recommend doing a healing around that. For other things that we've been conditioned through childhood, it's really about bringing our awareness onto that. And this is sort of a little bit of part of the awakening process, that these things even exist. I never even knew about limiting beliefs. So, and people use different processes, but I see the common thread is becoming aware of that block first. A lot of people like to journal on it until it's all out, and shining that light of awareness on it, because where there is darkness, where there is light, darkness cannot exist, basically. So it's really doing that shadow work, which is so important for our spiritual growth anyway. Yeah. Or
yeah.
do you have a method that you use in particular, or?
I've tried lots of methods.
Yes, I think we all do.
I
Yeah.
know, and I think the thing is, like, along this journey and just in life in general, because there is so many things, like you mentioned, past lives, and then the stories we've been told in this life, and
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I think that it's going to be a continuous journey, and
Yes,
I've
it
done
is.
lots of different things, and broken through lots of different blocks, but there is some that are very much ingrained that need
Mm,
extra work pretty much daily. um,
yeah.
and the one thing that I've been doing lately is just getting really curious about a thought and
Yeah.
really questioning it. Does it need to have the life that I've been giving it, the
Yep.
thought, or is it just something silly? Because a lot of the times, um, previously, years ago, I used to let my mind go down way
Oh,
down a path where it didn't need
yeah.
to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've had substance abuse in my past as well, and the reason I did that was to numb that my
Yeah.
mind, because I didn't want to think so much.
Yeah. I get
so
that.
so now to stop that, to try and avoid going down that path again, it's more I try and be curious about it, and kind of sit with the uncomfortableness of
Yeah.
the thought and why I'm having the thought,
Yes.
things like that. But
Yeah. And that can be the
healing.
most challenging part, really.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's about rising to that challenge. When someone is ready, they're ready,
yeah,
you know, and
yeah,
having patience around it too, because sometimes we just think this should be done now, gone, no, it's not working. But really having patience around the process and with yourself is
yeah,
really important. Yeah.
yeah. That's it. And not being afraid to face whatever it is, because I guess without facing it, we're not overcoming it at all.
That's right. That's right. And it will only fester. It will not disappear on its own.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. And so with that fear that a lot of, I guess, especially with new businesses or businesses in general, people running businesses, there's that fear of failure, I guess,
Mm.
or being seen too much and things like that. Not being seen too much, but being judged, I guess. And so if those kind of things are coming up, is there any sort of particular method that you sort of use?
Yeah, with my ladies, we typically will try and find the root of that belief. So, when did they first ever feel judged? And I'm going to be transparent here. I don't know what sort of exact how open your audience is, but a lot of the times we've got to go back into a past life. Us as women collectively have so many witch wounds,
Yeah.
and we were persecuted and humiliated. So, for us, standing up and being visible and speaking our real truth, inherently it means death to us on a subconscious level. We think we're going to be basically, burnt at the stake because we're carrying this over from that lifetime.
Yeah.
So most women that work with me have done a past life healing, but we also do inner child because we all, who had the perfect childhood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so important.
That totally got me then. I actually
Yeah.
have done a few past life things, and it is funny the things that come up of
Yeah,
our past lives that you would not
really
have
amazing.
expected.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense when you're doing it. You're like, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
So and
Yeah.
definitely, I don't. I feel like we're all fairly opened in this beautiful group,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
I do highly recommend that because it is this is just sort of one life, and we're living it. This, we're obviously here living this one, but there is a lot of stuff that we have brought over
Yeah.
from other lives. That it's always just good to be open minded and just investigate it a little bit
Yes.
further.
Absolutely. And I would not be sitting here today if I hadn't earlier on in the piece gone through this process myself with a beautiful coach, because I didn't even know about this stuff, and it really resonated with me too. It made sense. I went back to that, lifetime, and we healed her. We healed that part of me. And yes, I was expecting it to all happen overnight and wake up completely healed the next day. And that didn't happen because I can be very impatient with myself. But I have noticed the growth over that period of time that I can show up. There's no way a couple of years ago that I would have been able to show up online and show my face and speak to someone else, especially about this.
Yeah, yeah, and
Mm.
I think that's important, hey, because we do sort of a healing, and I'm like you, I'm a bit impatient. I'm like, damn it, I still feel the same.
Yeah.
But then when I look back on how I was when I first did the first one, I remember actually
Exactly.
my beautiful friend Kerry, who's in this group. She's a kinesiologist, and she did my first one with me, and it was, I think, her sessions are usually an hour, but I think we were there for 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
huge, and I left there feeling
Yeah.
so light, but I'm sure poor
Yes.
Kerry was was not feeling light. But you do feel so light afterwards. It's funny, the things that I sort of cleared in that session, some still come up to this day, but they are not as uh, heavy
Yeah.
and weighing as they used to be. And I
Yeah.
think that's a really important message to everyone who's listening is, just really submit yourself to the process, and don't stress or worry if you're not seeing the results straight away, because it is a
Absolutely.
journey. That's why they call it a journey.
Exactly. And there's always that period of integration. And that's what I tell my clients, you know, that's why we don't just wake up and everything's changed. Although a lot of people will find, you know, differences, but there's that period of integration. Our body's going to integrate this new space.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Amazing. And so tell me a little bit about your program, and how our beautiful tribe can work with you a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said earlier, it basically was downloaded through Spirit in one night. And I knew that it was important. We just started this week. It isn't too late to enroll, but I've taken the most beautiful souls we've started this week, and we are going through the universal laws. We are doing a lot of shadow work,
Yeah.
a bit of energy alchemy. We are actually healing past life witch wounds at some stage, which is amazing, so important. We're working very closely with the goddesses, one each week, and receiving guidance and connecting in with that goddess. And the women have really come together beautifully, supporting each other already just after one session.
Oh, that's so good.
It's magical. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. And so I know you said you just started. Is this something that you're going to be doing sort of on a regularly?
Yeah, I think so. It runs for 12 weeks, and I wasn't sure when I was getting it all ready if this would just be a one-off or not, but it looks to be really special, quite special. So I do think I will keep it on board for future ladies as well. So
Yeah.
I'm still taking enrollments just till the end of this week, and then that will be it. I'll close it down.
Okay, amazing. Well, that sounds
Yeah.
perfect. So I'll put the details in on how to connect with you for that. And sort of any last messages you would love to leave the tribe with, about, I guess, being that abundance warrior and becoming all that they desire to be.
Mm. So just that you already are. This is not something you have to try and be. It is who you are, authentically you. And there was something coming to me as you were saying that. Yeah, and you're worth shining that goddess power through you. And nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you know that there is an area in your life that needs to be looked at, don't be afraid to go and look at it. And there's plenty of support out there to do that.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful.
Fine.
That's all right. My dog's been playing with his toy beside me, so it's all. And we've put our animals on today too.
Yeah,
So.
I know. How funny is that? Totally not organised either.
Oh, it's all good. Well, thank you so much for joining us. That was really amazing. And
My absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
that's all good. I highly recommend checking out Sarah's work, because I'm actually thinking that I need to come and see you too. I have done a few of these things myself, and I can very much vouch for the power of doing that inner work, because there's so much
Absolutely.
more to us in this life. So very much go check Sarah out. And if you have any questions for Sarah, please feel free to comment below. Just write in a question there, and I'm sure Sarah won't mind getting back to you.
Absolutely. I'd be happy.
Perfect. Well, thank you so
Okay.
much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And we will be seeing you again soon.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
See ya.